Hi there, welcome to today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I am Theodore Henry. On our show, see what's happening to boost the sustainable management of mines and quarries for economic growth. Later, a look back at major achievements in the Ministry of Transport and Mining in 2017. Plus, get the facts about restricted and prohibited spaces for drone or unmanned aerial vehicle operations. Sit back, relax, and be enlightened as we turn the pages of Jamaica Magazine.
Protect Jamaica, plant your grass. Help us become more resilient to climate change impacts. Protect Jamaica, plant a tree. It improves the island's national biodiversity. Trees may be fruit, ornamental, or timber, but must be native or suitable to the area's natural landscape. Join the Jamaica Million Tree Campaign and help to plant 1 million trees by June 30, 2019. This is a call to action by the National Environment and Planning Agency.
Applying best practices in the extraction and processing of our mineral resources could bring about more efficient production and increased returns for those in the sector and the wider economic space. Government and its partners are facilitating the knowledge sharing that's required to achieve this. Take a look. Jamaica is endowed with many large deposits of high-purity limestone that, if developed, can be marketed for the processing of high-value products. The potential for significant earnings from limestone lies in its varied uses, such as in the production of cement, paper, paints, chemicals, animal feed, soap, toothpaste, and for pharmaceuticals. Focus on large rock bodies suitable for producing skid-resistant aggregates for transportation-wearing surfaces is also an area of significant economic interest. Current rejuvenation and expansion in the mining and construction sectors, including the use of sand from hard rocks, are commanding new opportunities.
The Ministry of Transport and Mining is particularly happy that this event is occurring. It therefore means that given the use of blasting and explosives in these two sectors, there will be a serious amount of work for persons who are going to be familiar with and trained in the blasting technologies.
Jamaica was one of 6 countries selected in August 2014 to participate in the ACP EU Development Minerals Program, of which the capacity building training is a significant component. This program is an initiative of the African, Caribbean, and Pacific ACP Group of States, financed by the European Union, and is being implemented by the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, with the Ministry of Transport and Mining's Mines and Geology Division as the national partner. Through a grant of €750,000, the capacity building work has taken off with industry stakeholders, civil society, private sector operators, blasters, and public sector representatives being provided with training in best practices in health and safety, environmental stewardship, mine management, and gender issues. It's all part of an overall effort to have development of neglected minerals play a more integral role in sustainable development, generating more local jobs and reducing poverty.
The program must be commended because of its focus, one that seeks to raise the profile and improve the management, particularly in what they call development minerals sector. We know that these minerals have played and continue to play a very important role in terms of development, whether roads, highways. We know that we are in a knowledge economy, and knowledge is what basically drives economies. So this training program is very timely, any training program. The importance of improving your own efficiency, your competitiveness cannot be overemphasized. Thank the ACP, EU in particular, funders for your total and committed support to this program.
The training contributes to disseminating innovative know-how and supports the implementation of the Paris Agreement and its commitment to alternative clean technology.
When we are talking about blasting, we know that there are some risks. This learning will be important for influencing changing within the national frameworks. Because of lack of attention to the sector, often the ordinary practices face a number of environmental, social, and economic challenges. It is therefore important to build capacity by training and offering support to the main stakeholders in the sector. Like many Jamaicans, we believe that education and skills training are essential tools for transforming lives. This is why we are fully engaged in supporting key initiatives aimed at advancing access to education and building people's capacity to create or find employment opportunities to improve their quality of life.
The training covers theory as well as practical demonstrations of quarry blasting techniques and mining and other quarry management methodologies.
We are trying to let them have an understanding of blasting, quarry design, and how to more efficiently use the explosive to get the production that is desired. Basically, we are trying to impart best practice.
We basically mine 5 different raw materials for the cement manufacture process. Limestone, which is 80% of the materials used. Basically, we also drill and blast 80% of that material. So this program is very, very beneficial to us, as I'm expected to be exposed to all the best practices in drilling and blasting. I'll be better able to manage my contractors who are also here.
It will be a boost for the industry, considering we have been having train-the-trainer programs where we train individuals that will go back into the quarries, into the industry to train others. So before long we'll have a well-trained unit.
The ACP EU UNDP Development Minerals Program on Training, a partnership with Mines and Geology Division, Ministry of Transport and Mining, empowering people to achieve sustainable development.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
On our roads, remember, take time, be courteous, drive good, walk good. Don't drink alcohol and drive. Don't drive tired or sleepy. Don't tailgate and don't overtake unless it is safe to do so. And always drive at a speed which will allow you time to stop quickly and safely. Let's keep it safe on our roads.
In 2017, government implemented policies and projects that improved the transport space and revitalized the mining sector. We have the year in review now.
In 2017, the Ministry of Transport and Mining continued work to maximize Jamaica's economic and social development potential. Work done by the ministry during 2017 included the launch of a new vehicle management system at the Island Traffic Authority in January. It will eliminate manual paper-based processes and duplication of records, while increasing cost savings at examination depots and supporting more compliant vehicles being on the roads. In February, the Transport Authority opened an office in Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland to provide greater access to customers in western parishes. The authority also offered 5,719 road licenses for persons wishing to operate hackney carriages, rural stage carriages, route taxis and contract carriages, on 20 newly created routes. Another 3,683 spaces were reopened between August and September for route taxis and 229 rural stage carriages island-wide. 2017 also saw the Transport Ministry's Road Safety Unit and the JCF stepping up road safety operations. Energy and transportation gains converged at the National Bus Company in 2017 when a proposal was finalized for the use of liquefied natural gas LNG by the JUTC. Then in December, Cabinet approved a pilot project to retrofit 5 Jamaica Urban Transit Company buses to start using LNG in the first quarter of 2018. Earlier in 2017, the JUTC experienced significant turnaround in its operational capacity. The daily run-out of buses moved to between 400 and 445 peak for the first 3 quarters of the calendar year, compared to 300 the previous year. In addition, the Transport Ministry streamlined and rolled out the first phase of the Rural Urban Transport Plan between Old Harbour in St. Catherine and a number of routes in Clarendon. The ministry continued to modernize the country's air service system in 2017 as Sangster International Airport's new air traffic control tower reached over 90% completion. Work also progressed towards privatizing the Norman Manley International Airport, as 8 investors were pre-qualified and a final draft concession agreement was prepared for the cabinet. Meanwhile, measures were taken to quickly restore normal operations after a lightning strike caused major damage to the NMIA's radar communication system. In December, Minister Mike Henry officially handed over the lease agreement for Tinson Pen to Kingston Wharves Limited. At the same time, the Kingston Wharves Limited Global Logistics Centre was commissioned into service.
Today we are seeing the implementation of the Cabinet decision to decommission the Aeronautical Training School to support logistic development in the Port of Kingston.
And in 2017, the International Civil Aviation Organization recognized Jamaica as one of 12 leading member countries that are in compliance with its standards and recommended practices. The Caribbean Maritime University CMU became a reality on September 21, 2017, as the institution officially received its new charter status with the expansion of its training curriculum at the undergraduate and postgraduate levels. This followed the passage of relevant legislation in Parliament earlier in the year. The university also signed an MOU with the Universal Service Fund for $310 million to establish a National Marine Port Operations Simulator Training Center, a multi-purpose lab, and a Geographic Information Systems Center. In November, Jamaica was successfully re-elected to the International Maritime Organization IMO Council Category C, which affords it enhanced influence in maritime decision-making for the period 2018 to 2019. Meanwhile, the Maritime Authority of Jamaica and Development Bank of Jamaica commenced work to establish a Jamaica Ship Registry to counter challenges in the sector. Also in 2017, a new minerals policy was crafted for approval. In June, Alpart Bauxite Plant was officially reopened under the new ownership of Gequan Iron and Steel Company, GISCO.
A bold decision was taken to give a 5-year bauxite levy waiver to facilitate the plant's reopening, with assurances from GISCO that they will, within 3 years of reopening Alpart, build a new 2 million tons per annum alumina plant to complement the existing 1.65 million tons per annum facility.
Later in the year, government entered into an agreement with GISCO for the company to invest $3 billion towards establishing an industrial park that will generate 2,000 direct jobs and a further 20,000 indirect employment opportunities. Throughout 2017, the Mining Ministry also restored more than 260 hectares of mined-out land to support farmers with areas for food production and planting for the nutraceutical industry. Just some of the highlights of the Ministry of Transport and Mining's strong performance for 2017, building prosperity through partnership.
make diseases spread. Wash your hands with soap and water instead. Wash them regular or use a hand sanitizer. Make sure the germs them dead. Touching your eyes or your mouth or your nose. Wash your hands before you do things like those. After you use the bathroom before preparing food, come on, wash your hand them clean.
Individuals, commercial entities and governments have come to realize the many uses of unmanned aerial vehicles, commonly known as drones. But with their popularity comes the need for strict regulations to ensure the integrity of Jamaica's airspace and the security and privacy of citizens.
Drones, more formally known as unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, or unmanned aircrafts, are used by many persons for various purposes. In recent years, there has been an increase in drone ownership and use in Jamaica, prompting strict regulations by the authorities. Commercial drone users are required to get a special aerial work permit from the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority, JCAA, each time a drone or other unmanned power-driven aircraft that flies without a human operator on board is to be used. This is important in order to address issues of aviation safety and security, as well as national security and privacy. Operators of drones and other unmanned aerial power-driven aircrafts must apply in writing to the JCAA, and the applicant must provide all details of the intended flight. The Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority mandates that drone users must not fly these devices at a height exceeding 400 feet or 122 meters above ground level. Also, recreational users must not go beyond the maximum range of 1,640 feet or 500 meters, or within 500 feet or 152 meters of an organized open-air assembly of people. Nor should these drones or UAVs be flown over or within 165 feet or 50 meters of any person. The guidelines also demand that persons not operate these aerial devices over a private or public property or dwelling without prior permission. Unmanned aerial devices should also not be operated at nights or during low visibility conditions. Persons are not to use drones or unmanned aerial vehicles to drop or discharge any item to the ground. The Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority's guidelines stipulate restricted and prohibited airspace where drones and other UAVs are either restricted or must not fly. In the restricted zones, drones are not allowed to take off unless a permit is obtained from the JCAA. Prohibited airspaces are designated where no flights by these devices are allowed. Some of the prohibited areas include Jamaica House, King's House, the Police Commissioner's Office, Jamaica Defence Force Up Park Camp, and the Petrojam Refinery. Restricted zones include flight training areas assigned to flight schools and the JDF Air Wing, Newcastle Training Base, and other JDF facilities across the island. There is a 5-kilometer or 3.1-mile radii no-fly zone for drones around aerodromes, as well as Norman Manley Sangsters and Ian Fleming International Airports. The policy in Jamaica is similar to industry practices in North America and the United Kingdom, where permission from the managers of the aerodromes and restricted or prohibited airspaces are sought prior to the issuance of a permit. So, for drone operation at or near aerodromes, communication is made with air traffic control, which will dictate flight times, which is included in the permit to the drone operator. All drone flights in prohibited and restricted airspaces will require a notice to airmen or NOTAM. The NOTAM is prepared by the JCAA and issued to the aviation industry in advance of the date the drone will operate, that is, 3 to 4 days lead time. The Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority demands that UAV users cease operation of these devices once a safety hazard is apparent and should not resume operation until the risk is resolved. All incidents that occur while using these aerial devices must be reported to the authority in order for the cause to be determined and for corrective measures to be implemented. The JCAA inspectors and law enforcement officers have the authority to intervene at any time. So, operators of drones and other unmanned aerial power-driven devices are encouraged to heed the regulations or face the penalty if the matter is brought before the court.
On the board this week, you are invited to make healthy living your lifestyle. It's Ready, Set, Sweat 2018. Come out for a Health and Fitness Day Expo on February 3 at the University of the West Indies Mona Bowl. Starting time is 9:30 a.m. There will be free blood pressure testing, free sugar testing, cardiovascular workouts, and lifestyle coaching, plus healthy foods and drink, including vegan options. You can also hit the treadmill and take part in group workouts, yoga, and weight training. Email readysetsweat2018@gmail.com for more information. The Montego Regional Hospital is inviting everyone to its 2018 staging of the One Love, One Blood donation drive and launch of the RideWise Safe Biking campaign. This will be held on Wednesday, February 7 at the Montego Regional Hospital. Join them from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and donate blood. There will be souvenir t-shirts for all donors, prizes and surprises, and refreshments in the One Love Lounge. The entertainment package begins at noon and features celebrity endorsements, a motorbike demo, and film premiere. Come out and give blood. The life you save may be your own. Auditions for the JCDC Festival of the Performing Arts competition for St. James will be conducted as per schedule between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. daily on the following days. January 29, speech at the Calvary Baptist Church in Montego Bay. January 30 to February 1, traditional folk forms at the Hollis Peter Lynch Hall. And on February 6, music at the St. John's Methodist Action Center. For more information, call 926-5726-9. And that's all for our community notices today. Send us your events for broadcast on the JIS Community Notice Board. Call 922-868-022 or send an email to cbishop@jis.gov.jm.
And now for some of the top stories in our news this week.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. The Andrew Holness administration this week named a 3-member Emergency Powers Review Tribunal to adjudicate appeals brought by or on behalf of persons detained under the powers granted to the security forces in the state of public emergency. And the Prime Minister also assured St. James residents that government was working quickly to ensure that adequate resources are in place to preserve the human rights of persons detained.
I am monitoring the reports. I've seen where there are complaints, and the government will respond to ensure that resources are available to ensure that those who are detained during the state of emergency have the minimum standards required for ensuring that we fulfill our human rights obligations.
The Justice Ministry, meanwhile, through the Legal Aid Council and Cornwall Bar Association, is providing legal representation for persons detained in St. James. Meanwhile, the Joint Security Forces are reporting encouraging results so far from the public state of emergency, including weapon and ammunition seizures and arrests of wanted persons.
Our operations are only as good as the intelligence that drives them, and that good intelligence is already out there in the community. We urge persons to use the JDF tip hotline 837-8888. I say again, 837-8888. To call and tell us what you know about criminal activities in your community.
At the same time, Security Minister Robert Montego says other operations are being carried out across the island, geared largely at capturing wanted men fleeing St. James.
Divisions within Area 5 conducted a 24-hour blitz which saw increased visibility and intensified operational activities to include VCPs, raids, searches, and visits to persons on curfew orders. 18 persons were detained in St. Catherine North and 1 in St. Catherine South as a result of these operations.
In other news, the governments of Jamaica and the Republic of Italy have signed a double taxation agreement. It addresses taxes on income and the prevention of tax evasion and avoidance and seeks to advance trade and investment relations between Jamaica and Italy.
This is all about transparency. This is all about having everything above board, and so there is no misunderstanding.
This agreement will certainly provide the fiscal conditions for sound investment and trade, and those help us promote capital inflow and expand foreign trade in our respective countries.
Jamaica's move to expand its shipping and logistics services was boosted with this week's official opening of Kingston Wharves Limited's total logistics facility.
Government supports and endorses the idea, the mission, the vision of creating an orderly port community. And we will support you with the regulation and the legislation necessary to ensure that it happens.
It was also reported this week that the Port Authority of Jamaica, PAJ, has initiated steps to recover payments made to 14 former executives without the required approvals. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says 2 of the former executives challenged the matter in the Supreme Court, but the case was dismissed on November 30 last year.
The recently retired executives have filed an appeal against the court's decision. No date has been set for the hearing of the appeal. In the circumstances, unless and until the Court of Appeal makes a different ruling, the Port Authority and the government will be guided by the decision of the Supreme Court.
The Tourism Ministry has established a $100 million loan fund for entertainment entrepreneurs to implement 2 major reggae products.
For us, tourism is not just about working at a hotel. For us, it's about innovation. For us, it's about adding value. For us, it's about entrepreneurship. But a product is a far more sustainable activity which has with it an economic sustainability quotient built in with employment.
And finally, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security has provided relief supplies for the children formerly housed at the Walker's Place of Safety, which was destroyed by fire recently.
At the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, we have the responsibility for taking care of the most vulnerable in the society. And when something like this happens, we must respond.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Join us tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Until then, you can click online at jis.gov.jm and visit our YouTube channel to get the latest government information. Also, follow us on Twitter and Facebook and download our app from the Google and Apple stores to stay informed while you're on the go. On behalf of all of us here at the JIS, I'm Theodore Henry. Till next time, take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.